Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over NIO, the company. First off, I would just like to say that this is an investment channel. I assume a lot of people that are interested in this stock are looking at what has happened recently. And I'm not surprised that it's been getting a lot of eyeballs on it. I mean, look at this. 12% in one day. If you zoom out, it just keeps looking better, right? 23%, 40%. Once you start going to the 6th month is when it starts getting a little bit less insane. Year to date, less so. 1 year, 5 year looks relatively good, but this is when I first start going, ooh, that is interesting, right? Assuming you know nothing about the stock prior. But anyways, I think I was talking about investing, right? Okay, so this is an investing channel, which means I primarily am looking at the long term of a company, right? I am going to touch a lot on trading in general in this video just because I assume a lot of people coming here are for that. But generally, I'm looking at the long term of a company. That's how I'm going to diagnose at the beginning, and then we'll kind of dive into like the trading moves of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge trader, but I'm going to provide some, at least my perspective on it at least. All right, so when I personally, my type of company is a company that historically has performed well, that is growing, that is hopefully making money, hopefully making more money year after year after year. Doesn't mean it can't have a bad year or two if that happens, or 3 or 4 even. But I'm pretty sure if we go to the all, yeah. So it IPO'd in 2018, late 2018. It appears. Yeah, it had some lows in 2020, shot up during the COVID highs, and has really fallen since. It was at 57, now it's at 6. So you don't need to be an expert in math to know that it is worth a lot less than it was. It was almost, was that an 80, 90% fall, maybe even more? I don't know. But to me as an investor, personally, that is the first red flag, all right? Yeah. Now, then usually I do that. I look at market cap. Okay, 13 market cap. It's smaller side. I like to not have too many small companies, but anything under 5 billion is when I start going, But this isn't like anything that's crazy red flag to me, right? So then I like to look at PE, forward PE. This is a company that does not turn a profit. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad company. That doesn't mean that it's not a company you can't make money on. It doesn't mean it's doomed and gloom, but it complicates things, right? Because normally you can look at, personally what I like to do, if you look at the chart and then you see the PE and the forward PE, usually without diving too much into it, you can get a good feel for where the company's at. Now you should always look a little bit deeper into financials and all that, but usually that's a pretty good indicator. When a company does not turn a profit, it just makes it more complicated. Not impossible, but more complicated to understand, okay, what is this worth? And where is it looking to be worth in the future, right? So revenue is 9 billion. So in terms of revenue to market cap, that's actually fairly high. But with the type of company it is, which, by the way, it is, I'm almost certain. I mean, let's read it here, right? NIO designs, develops, manufactures, and sells smart electric vehicles in China. Okay, so it is an electric vehicle company. It is a vehicle company. So understanding that it is a non-profitable electric vehicle company. For me, that is like not a fan. I don't like I said, for long-term investing, right? I don't like vehicle manufacturers for the most part. I mean, it's so hard to turn profit. Look at Ford here. I don't like to do this in video because usually I mess it up. You got to be careful on this website because if you just go from one, so this should be Ford all time. If you bought a 1987 Ford, you would basically be dead even. Hit at $9, right? Now there's dividend here. You're not just going to be at that, but it is. And obviously, if you sold at highs, you would have done incredibly. Or you sold here, that's still good. Not incredibly for the time frame, but incredibly, including the dividend and for a vehicle company, right? Let's go back here. But it's not a. I don't like vehicle. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you understand the industry. Maybe you are good at. Maybe you just know it. Maybe you work in the industry. Maybe you know something I don't. But I do not like vehicle stock. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of regulation. There's almost no moats ever, right? And oftentimes you go years without. And it takes. I mean, think about it, right? A couple of years ago, everyone's like, EVs are the thing, EVs are the thing, EVs. And then now we're kind of looking like, okay, maybe it's hybrids, right? Maybe EVs isn't this golden goose that's just going to print money. I think most people have acknowledged that at this point, right? So it takes, and you can't just like, okay, we're going to do EVs now. It takes years of design, and it's just, it's not something that you can like snap your fingers. We're selling pencils and now we're selling blue pencils, right? It's not that simple. That's a weird example, but roll with it, okay? So that's what I look at. Also, electric vehicle, right? Another red flag. This right here. I'm not a fan of Chinese companies. I'm not. And it's not because I have anything personal against China or the Chinese people. But there's a lot of things you have to factor in. Like if you don't know why U.S. investment in Chinese companies is falling dramatically, I would highly recommend you look up Didi, the story behind that. It's basically the Chinese ride-sharing company. It basically IPO'd, and then the Chinese government's, we don't like you guys, and just rug pulled. And almost immediately, I'm going off of memory here, but it was almost immediate, which is just... It's just tough. I don't like, and also a lot of the companies are basically an arm of the government in the sense that, not that they're like, oh, the government's like, you must make 8 pencils, right, this year for your quota. Not like that, but it's like, if the government wants a business to survive, they'll throw money at it. If they want it to die, they'll, lock Jack Ma away for 2 years or whatever. But I just do not like China. Now, this is probably the point where half of you are like, okay, I want to make money here. I am not saying, here, let's look at this chart. I'm not saying that this company will do bad. I'm not saying it will never go higher than 652. And I'm not saying you won't make a bunch of money on it. However, as an investor, I look for things to line up. I look for, is the PE good? Is it making money? Does it have a good moat? Is it a type of industry I like or I haven't diversified into? I do not see this. Actually, I see all the opposite of what I personally like. But, however, momentum is a real thing in stocks. If you are a trader and you know how to trade and you're good at setting stop losses and you're well versed in this type of company, a company with a chart that looks like this. There are many that look like this. If you know how to play this game, by all means, play it. Do it. I don't know almost anything when it comes to trading, right? I'm not into TA. I've heard quite a bit of TA. I couldn't really articulate it to any of you, but I mean, momentum is a real thing, and it very likely will go up. And I'm not saying you won't make money on it. However, personally, I do not like this. I do not like this as a long-term investment. I would much prefer, even a company like Rivian, right? Which I don't know where that's at right now, but China, I do not. I'll make a video on that. It's so tough. It's so tough. But actually, one thing when I look at a company is I try to look for red flags, right? So if I'm comparing this to a Tinder date, which is really dumb, but red flags, right? This company is, the date showed up, did not tip, asked me to pay. I could smell them or I don't date. That's embarrassing. I do not date guys, but I'm doing it from the example of maybe a woman. So it's just weird, but just roll with it, right? I feel like girls complain on the internet, about Tinder dates a lot more than guys do. Guys are just kind of happy if they get a Tinder date. I do love how I just said that like I'm dating a guy, which is hilarious, but there's nothing wrong with dating guys, but I'm not going to do that. No. So, gosh, but the Tinder date didn't pay, didn't want to pay, didn't tip, stunk, was, I don't know, I guess if we're talking girl, she was like, the dude was way shorter than he said or something. If it was a girl, maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to dive too much. You guys get the point. As an investment now, as a trading standpoint, you may say, hey, this has the momentum. People are going to get on. This was like one of the most traded stocks, or most of highest volume stocks on Friday. So also this is going to come out around noon tomorrow, I think. So you'll likely be watching at least in the middle of this. And if I'm guessing, this will probably open green. People are starting to hear about it. It's getting some buzz. It'll probably run up. And then after that, who knows? Maybe they become profitable. If this becomes profitable, it will be higher. Absolutely. Will it be in 58? I don't know. Doubt it. It's possible. It's possible. It really is. But I look for things to line up and say, is this where I want to? It's certainly for a speculative play like this. A company that's not, I mean, even the evidence is that if we look at the all-time, are we at the all-time? We are not. The evidence is it's up 8%. Likely the sales haven't gone that much. We're not going to dive into that today. You can see that. In that you can look at revenue. I'm sure revenue is probably growing, but maybe not even that much, right? Maybe they're losing more. That's what's complicated with non-profitability. You just got to you got to do so much more research. You just do. Like I said, I'm not going to say, but I would rather, right? Let's just say generally, when I look at a stock like Rivian, right? I'm saying, okay, this is likely either going to go bankrupt or be profitable and survive for long term, right? That's kind of how vehicle companies go. And so when I look at it, it's like there's a blank percent chance this goes bankrupt, and then if it doesn't, it will go up this much. So for Rivian, when it was around 10, I was like, I think probably if we're looking at a 5-year term, there's probably a 5%, I don't know, it's spitballing, right? 50% chance Rivian goes bankrupt. But if it doesn't, it will probably be worth at least 3 times this amount, right? So you have to look at this and say, there's a blank odds that this will, I mean, it's a little bit more complicated because Chinese government might prop it up. I do not know. I'm not going to do it, but just from me spitballing, right, there's a 60% chance this company never turns a profit and is not around long term. Maybe 70, right? But if it does, it'll be around X price, right? So maybe it's 3X, 4X, 5. I do not like it for that sort of play. I don't see it. Also, issue with China. I think so. It says it right here. Usually it goes on and says electric vehicles in. So for example, TSM. I did it earlier. It says TSM sells semiconductors in Africa, Europe, Asia, South America, North. Right. It only says one thing. Sells vehicles in China. You are not NIO. People are not going to be riding. Yeah. Look at me. I got my NIO vehicle in the United States. I mean, it's possible, but it's so unlikely. I don't see it. It's possible. It's just Europe. No, I don't think so. Japan, South Korea, they don't like China. They have their own, at least Japan has established their own. I do not like South America. Apparently, Chinese vehicles do better, but I don't see it, guys. I don't see it as an investment, as a trade. I can understand why this would be like, okay, we're getting up, you buy in, every day it goes up, you move your stop loss or your, I don't know jack about trading, guys, going to be so honest, but I think it's a stop loss for if it goes low enough, it sells, and it will probably go up to 8, 9, 10, I don't know, a lot. It's got momentum, but I don't momentum play. I don't understand it as well as one would need to. I don't want to be in the daily, oh, this is up 2%. Oh, this is down 3%. Oh, I don't know. Oh, my, this triggered. Oh, my alarm's going on. I don't like that personally. If you do, great. And I'm sure you should dive into other people that cover that sort of thing. And I'm sure they would have better analysis for the play on this one. But as an investment, guys, this is probably one of the worst stocks as an investment ever. I don't like the upside because it's only in China. I don't like the company because it's in China. I do not like the industry. I do not like the non-profitability. I do not like the fact that it's already pumped and dumped once. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them Sam I am. That is my opinion on this stock, seriously. So, but hey, I'm not, and like I said, I'm not saying it's not going to go up to 20. I'm not saying it's not going to be. I think there's a 40% chance that this company, that may be generous, honestly. I don't know. I haven't sat down, but spitballing here, right? 60% chance it survives and it probably goes up. But I can put my money in a company that's 99.99 not going to go bankrupt in the next 5 years. Apple. You think Apple or Microsoft or TSM or Nvidia or AMD or Morgan Stanley or all these companies probably have a 1 in 1,000 chance of going bankrupt within the next. This one probably has a 60, right? And the upside, I mean, this thing could go up 300% in 5 years, but dude, freaking TSM could go up. Nvidia can go. Yeah, it probably can, right? All those, like Morgan Stanley won't, but many of those companies will likely or have a good chance of going up just as much as this one does. I don't like it. But let's look at some analysts, right? Economic moat, none. That's damning. I agree there. I don't always agree with them, but I agree with that. Some people were like, okay, Market Edge likes it, whatever, ESG. What does Schwab say? They usually don't do ADRs. They do not do an ADR on this. Sure. If you're interested in this, short interest, number of shares shorted. Some ETFs to short. I mean, I'm just kidding. There's some other, I mean, even this was rated an A or like a B. I was like, oh, I do not like the car industry. I don't. And this company actually makes money, so. Man, yeah. No, this is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one. Personally, for me, I would rather, I don't know. I would rather buy almost any stock but this one for an investment long term. If I couldn't sell for 5 years, if I could not hit the sell button for 5 years, just about any stock except maybe Intel. No, that's lock me in a room. Give me $1 million and said, you get to have this money. All it has to be put in a stock that will not go down or won't be less than it is when you buy it in 5 years. And I only have two choices. My app glitches. I can only press NIO or Intel. Man, I don't know. I'm probably picking Intel, but that is saying I'm gonna go over Intel in the video. It is a company. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked here, so I'm gonna wrap up. If you disagree with me, that is totally fine. Investment's tough. Probably many of you who disagree with a lot of the points are looking at it from a trading perspective. I've said it like 8 times. This is a trade stock. If you like trading stocks and you want that, man, this can go up 80%. I might just hit a home run with this. This could be that. Honestly, it could be. I'm not encouraging that. This is not investment advice. Nothing. All this here is just my own opinion. It could do that. Do I like this as an investment standpoint? I like this as anything but an investment. I do not like it. That's about it, I'm pretty sure. If you've gotten this far in the video and you don't completely disagree with everything I've said, give it a like, maybe subscribe. I appreciate you clicking on this video. I am brand new. I'm trying to cover some stocks, and I thought, I just keep thinking about this one. I'm just like, I need to make a video on this because it's so crazy how every red flag, man. So, anyways, I appreciate you watching, and if you, like I said, leave a like or something, that would really help my channel a lot. I'm brand new, so, and I also appreciate, I just appreciate it. So, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.